Let's talk a bit more about this. Now, I want to tell you, we have a news meeting every morning to talk about this in-depth segment. This morning, they asked me to go in-depth on the history of the conflict between Israel and Hamas, and I immediately started panicking because this topic is about as in-depth as you can get. People have very passionate positions, and right now passions are high because people are dying. The terror and the violence continues as we speak, as Mark was just summarizing. That said, a lot of journalists have tried to break this down over the past couple of days. This is a great article from the New York Times with a timeline of the clashes between Palestinian militants and Israel. And this article, like almost every other article I've found, starts in the late 1940s when Israel became a nation. That's usually where these articles start, when Israel started. Here's a brief history I'm sure you've heard by now, but after World War II, a lot of Jewish people were displaced and felt unsafe, so the United Nations took a portion of Palestine and made it Israel. They were envisioning a two-state solution. When Israel proclaimed its independence, every surrounding Arab nation declared war, and there's been conflict ever since. But in this story of power and politics and history, we're only witnessing really the latest chapter for a region that has been at the center of conflict for millennia. It is in the birthplace of modern civilization, conquered and ruled by different empires for thousands of years. The Egyptian Empire, the Babylonians, the Persians, Macedonians, the Romans, the Byzantine, the Ottoman, and then the British Empire, and now home to Israel. Israel is on Holy Land, the location of some of the most pivotal moments in Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. I asked Duke professor Bruce Jenselson to explain the significance of religion in the conflict surrounding the region.
And if you look around the world, your religion is the basis for lots of conflicts. You know, in India right now between Hindus and Muslims, in many other parts of the world. I mean, in Northern Ireland, it's been Catholics against Protestants, right? It is a conflict in our own country. But you're right, Dan, that you know what you have here is the layering of so many elements. You have, you know, different religions, Islam and Judaism. You have a sense that both feel that they have long-term, call it biblical or historical rights to the land, because the land has been moved back and forth between so many different occupiers over the centuries. And you also have countries with their own politics.
So let's take a live look. This is Jerusalem tonight, one of the most significant holy sites on the entire planet, specifically the Western Wall that you're looking at there. Here's what it looks like during the day. One of our producers took some photographs when she was in Jerusalem. You can see right there a beautiful site. In Judaism, Jerusalem is their holiest site, where biblical holy temples stood thousands of years ago. Also a site that is revered by Muslims. It's where the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven and talked to God before he returned to earth. And for Christians, it's the birthplace of their faith, where Jesus was crucified, buried, and rose from the dead. Sites that are also worshipped by Muslims who believe Jesus was a prophet. There are members of each religion who believe that this holy land is their holy land and a place for their God to be worshiped, remembered, and respected. It is a layer of this conflict that is the oldest and the one I've seen written about the least recently. One of the many pieces, though, of this complicated fight that continues to escalate. Let me know what you think. What is on your mind on this story or any other? We talk about delicate topics here. I want to hear what you think about them. Tell me, email me, Dan@WRAL.com, and we will go in depth.